Hey everyone, welcome to today's live video. I'm going to try and see if I can fix my phone here because the way I have it set up, it just keeps like clicking the sound. Okay, that's better. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me for today's live video. As you know, this is my favorite day of the week now, is when I get to hang out with all of you cool people. So thank you for joining me today. And we're going to be covering a bunch of topics here today. The quintuplets, as you know, just turned 6 this last week, and I feel like we have been partying all week long. So much to celebrate. So again, I would love to hear where everyone is from. It's just fun to see where everybody lives and make those connections. Jackie, it's nice to see you. Hello. And Kristen, you asked some questions in the DM, so I'll be answering some of those today. I think you were the one that asked the questions today, but hi to you too. So today's live video, I started it at 11 o'clock today because I've got an appointment like later today, and I just got done volunteering in the classroom and for the girls. And so today's video is at 11, and that is why usually I like doing it around like 2 o'clock. Sherry, hi, and Sarah, hi from Colorado. Carol is from Arizona. Nice to see you. And Kimberly is from Central New York. Kimberly is from Niagara Falls, Canada, and Kristen lives in Wyoming. So glad you are all here today. We've got people joining us from the UK, and Jerry is from Salt Lake City, Utah. Debbie's from Indiana. So many cool people, and it's so fun to make those connections, and I'm just grateful that all of you are here today. So we're going to cover just a ton of topics today, and I'm going to try and move through it a little bit quicker today as we jump in. I had so many people wish the quintuplets a happy birthday. And Kyle is texting me right now about the next vlog, so I've got to upload all of that footage to him as well. So it's just a jam-packed full day, and I've got to keep working on the laundry room renovation so that I can show you all what I've been up to for tomorrow's vlog. So I am just going to jump into it. So the quintuplets turned 6 this last week. I think their birthday, it was the 21st. I want to say it was on a Thursday. And we did a birthday party on Saturday for the Quints so that Shayden could come down from Wyoming because he really, really wanted to come for that. And so it was a really good time. We kept it pretty simple, I want to say, but there are so many people that love the quintuplets. And so it started out as like a smaller group and then just expanded from there to a lot of people that love them. So we had little grandma there, Grandma and Grandpa Smith, Shayden, his girlfriend Tatum. I'm trying to think who else was there. Just a couple of the kids' best friends that are our neighbors, and then some new neighbors that we have just moved next to. And then Mina stopped by for a little bit, and that was really fun. So when I get a minute to like edit and put together like some reels and some stories for you, you'll get to see a little bit more behind the scenes of what we were up to there. But anyway, it was so much fun. And the Quins continue with all of their birthday shenanigans because now they're at their dad's house this week. And so I think he celebrated with the kids yesterday and had a little party for them. So many wonderful memories, so many things that just take me back to when they were babies. It just all comes right back to me. Let's see, Linda is from Florida. Hi, Linda. Glad that all of you are here. Yes, they are 6. I still feel like it was yesterday that we were back in Arizona with our favorite NICU nurses and the nurses that took care of me. And it still feels like yesterday. It's crazy to look at them now and think they are their own little people. The girls in the vlogs, I don't know if you're able to tell, but the last vlog, if you go back and watch it, these girls now have opinions and a style all their own now that they're 6. So the girls were so excited for their birthday. They decided, I said when they all woke up for school, I was like, you guys can wear whatever you want today. It's your day. It's your birthday. And the kids decided they all wanted to dress alike and be matchers. But the girls didn't want just hair bows. They wanted hair bows attached to their hair bands with jewelry and necklaces and all the things. And so it was fun to see what they put together. And it's fun to see just them take the lead on what they want and their own little personalities. So sometimes it's a little bit funny because sometimes the outfits they put together, I'm like, okay, but they're figuring out their identity and who they are outside of being a quintuplet, but they all are very proud that they are twins or triplets or quintuplets still. Sometimes when they dress alike, they call themselves twins. And sometimes Daisy feels left out because she says she wants to be a triplet, be a matcher. So just kind of funny, quirky things as these kids are getting older, but it is fun. So happy birthday to the Quints. Let's see, we're just going to dive in to some of the questions that people have asked. Why don't you celebrate with their dad is one of the questions. We just find it easier to do separate birthday parties. And also we have different support systems. And Skylar's family is rather large. He has 9 living siblings. And so when you start inviting over like friends and family or neighbors, it's just so many people. So this way just works best for us and it works better for the Quints. I know every family with co-parenting may look a little bit different, but that's how we choose to do it. So I do think that was a really great question to ask. Sherry asked, who is the biggest mama's boy or girl? So if anybody knows my kids well and you've been watching the vlogs, you could probably guess this one. If you had to pick out of all 5, who is the biggest mama's boy or girl? I'll give you a minute to think about that. I would say Logan. Logan is the biggest mama's boy. Like, he loves his mama. He kisses me all the time. And he'll say things like, Mama, I love you so, 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 so much. My love for you just grows and grows and grows, and it never stops. And then when he doesn't get what he wants or has to go to timeout, he'll say things like, you don't love me anymore, you hate me, and I am never sharing my love with you again. So he's very affectionate, but when he gets in trouble, he gets mad because he doesn't like to hear the word no. And so sometimes he'll say that to his grandma, or if somebody's babysitting, if you put him in timeout for doing something naughty, then he'll say, you don't love me anymore. I'm not sharing my love with you. So anyway, I would say definitely Logan. Lincoln has surprised me lately and is kind of turning into a mama's boy as well. He's such a passionate little boy that he still needs a lot of guidance, I feel like, from his mama. So every once in a while, he'll just have these moments where he'll just come up and just like hug me. And it's the sweetest thing ever. But anyway, sometimes it's fun. Do any of the kids have effects still from being preemies? Great question, Sue. I don't know that anything is related to being preemies. It's quite common when kids are born as quintuplets to have developmental delays, health challenges, things like that. 3 of my children do have food allergies. I don't know that that's because they're preemies. They have similar allergies like Landon. Nobody has any like heart conditions, developmental delays. We have a few kids with OCD. We have a couple of the Quints with sensory processing disorder, but those are things that can be with any child, not because they're quintuplets and not because they're preemies. I do feel like though, and people did ask this question, Liz actually, L-I-S, she asked this question, do they take speech therapy lessons? I think what we are seeing though is as quintuplets, they're competing for attention and for the love of their mom and their dad a lot. And so I think, when you're born as a twin or a triplet, a quadruplet, quintuplets is definitely high order multiples. Anything above 3 is considered high order multiples. I think speech just comes a little bit later for the most part, I would think. And so my kids don't need speech therapy. That one has been asked a lot. And I think on the vlogs, it can be a little bit more tricky to understand the little boys, especially Lincoln. And I think part of that is the way Lincoln's brain works. He has OCD and he has ADHD. And so the way his mind works, it's on super speed. So he'll have an idea in his mind of something he wants to do, something he wants to express, something he wants to say, but his brain just works so fast that trying to get it out is sometimes extremely frustrating for him because his brain works faster than he can say it. And so I think that's something that over time is just going to even out. I don't know that it's necessarily because he's a preemie or that he was born early, but I think just speech is just a little bit trickier for him, but he doesn't need actual speech therapy. I think just working on and understanding as he gets older, the way his mind works, because it is brilliant, and that his speech will learn to catch up with that. But if we need it down the road, then we always have that as an option. Your love of Christ is evident, girlfriend. Sue, that's really kind to say. I don't think I could have gotten through the things that I've gotten through in the last 6.5 years if my life wasn't centered around the Savior, Jesus. And I'm so very grateful that he has been the foundation of the way I choose to live my life, the way I choose to parent, and the things that I teach and instill in my children. And I think that's across the board is, having a faith-filled life. It just creates so much hope for my life. And on the hard days when I want to shut the world out, it helps me to keep going. So that was really kind to say. Let's see. The older boys are going into young men. A credit to both mom and dad. Tracy, thank you. I think they're the best of both of us. And I see qualities in each of my boys that did come from their mom and their dad. And so it's pretty cool as they get older to see those things and to hear about their opinions as they're growing into young men. Hi, Lisa, you're just hopping on. Thank you for joining us. It's always fun to catch up with everybody and see how everybody are doing. They were so cute and kind with the bunnies. Can we cover, we're going to start this out, of course, with extending grace to each one of us and kindness in our comments. They were really sweet and gentle with those bunnies. That clip I showed you all was only 7 seconds long. It was 7 seconds. We had our friends come down from Shelley, Idaho, that were actually down for spring break to visit their family. And so they brought over 3 little bunnies that were headed to other people's homes. And we just loved them. So there was a lot of people commenting about the way the bunnies were being held. And that's not a way that I would hold the bunnies. But this was the owner that has kids of her own that work with those bunnies a lot. Those bunnies are used to being around children. And so when they were first introduced, I'd say about the first 30 seconds, the bunnies were introduced and held that way. And then the rest of the clip that all got edited out, the bunnies were hopping around for 30 minutes exploring the playroom. The girls were showing the bunnies their little wooden dollhouse and just petting them super gently with 2 fingers. And it was just really sweet to watch them be so gentle and kind with little animals. And if you saw the clip from yesterday, Lincoln found a lizard in our house, and we back up to farmland. And we get so many lizards that we find just inside our house. And so anytime the kids find them, it's always a treasure. And Lincoln was just super protective of this little baby lizard in particular. He wanted to build it a little house out of blocks before we set it free in the front yard. But anyway, it's just been such a beautiful week with the kids. They're back at their dad's this week, which is how I'm able to do some of these live videos and really think about things. But I'm just really thinking a lot about this season of springtime and fresh starts, and just all the beauty, wonder, awe of childhood through my children's eyes, especially with them turning 6 years old. I feel like as a parent, as a mom, having quintuplets, having higher to multiples, it goes at lightning speed. And our seniors on here have always said that, appreciate it. It goes by so fast. And I have felt that from day one, trying to help each of my children develop in the ways that they need it. It just goes by so fast. And I hope one day to look at my life and realize I lived as if it were a dream, all of it, just beautiful, wonderful dream of just these beautiful childhood memories. And I hope that that's what I get to carry with me. And I hope that's what my kids get to carry with me too. Sonia is from Cape Town. Hi, Betsy. It's nice to see you on here too. What is the Quint's best part of turning 6? I think the kids are excited that they get double birthday parties at their mom's house and then at their dad's house. We did celebrate in their classroom, and I brought in cookies. And so that was really fun, especially for the girls. They were really excited about that, and that they get to share their special day with their siblings. watching them opening presents honestly feels so overwhelming for me. So the kids probably got about 6 or 7 presents, maybe 8 a piece at their birthday party. But it is so tricky watching them all open it at the same time. We've tried doing it like one kid at a time, but it takes so long with quintuplets. So watching them open their birthday presents was almost like watching Christmas because there's so much excitement. I loved in the clips, if you guys go back and watch it again, their neighborhood friends and then our second cousins that came over, Ara and Brett, are in those clips as well. And it's so fun to see the excitement as a friend or a cousin and watching someone you love open their birthday presents, because it means in some roundabout way that you get to play with those toys, hopefully too. So it's really sweet to see my kids letting their cousins and their best friends help them with opening their presents. So I think the girls were most excited probably about the little jewelry boxes that their Grandma Smith gave them and all the little trinkets that came with them. There were necklaces and rings, and the girls were just like bedazzled with jewelry. And it kind of reminded me genetically of their Grandma Sherry on their dad's side, because she really loves jewelry. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, it was just really, sorry, sometimes I had messages coming in because I don't know how to like silence my phone sometimes. Anyway, so that was really fun. We have more questions coming in. Hi from Louisiana. I caught you live. How exciting. And Glennis is from South Africa. Thank you for joining us. So many great people on here. And I love that we're predominantly women that tune in, that have lived full lives, are from different walks of life, women who've raised children, women who are just starting out. I know you mentioned you don't really talk. Okay, I missed that comment. Can you say that again? Sometimes they come in so fast. We've got people from Ireland here. I don't think I've ever seen anybody say they're from Ireland. And we've got people from Belgium, and Lana is from San Diego. Welcome, everybody. So the gal that asked the question just a minute ago, you can re-ask that. Sometimes when we have lots of questions coming in at the same time, and especially if they're longer, it takes me a minute to read them. Leanne is from Canada. I have followed all your posts since the Quints were born, Kathy. I'm so grateful. And we have people from Budapest on here and the UK. So a while ago when the babies were first born, we had a magazine article that was released in the UK. And I think that's how a lot of people from the UK, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, found us. In the UK and Australia. I know that it made worldwide news when I delivered the babies, and it was a pretty cool experience. I had my uncle actually living in Florida at the time, and he said he heard it on the radio and was like, that's my niece, like I know them. So it was kind of cool, and just it all happened so fast. It was a little overwhelming at the time. Let's see, Denise lives in Florida. Hi Jamie, I'll watch this later. I'm at a doctor's right now. Okay, we'll catch you later. Do you talk to Skylar's family was the question. Oh, okay. The last time I talked to Skylar's family, maybe I mentioned this before, and I hope this is okay to say, but I ran into my former in-laws at Walmart, and we were both looking in the laxative section. And so we just briefly talked about that, and I didn't even realize that they were standing next to me till I looked up, and I was like, oh, I know you. I don't really have a lot of contact with my former Scott family members. They're a pretty big family. I wouldn't say I get out too much, but the Quints do see their extended family a lot on their dad's side. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see, one of the other questions, Georgina asks, which of the Quints is the best sleeper? I would have to say, surprisingly, Lincoln is a really good sleeper. And so is Daisy. So Daisy will just put herself to bed, especially when she's overstimulated after a long day. So if you can imagine what it might be like to be a quintuplet, if you think about this for a minute, if you've ever been to a little kid's birthday party, imagine the kids at the party never going home. So sometimes I would say as an adult watching this as their mom, it's kind of like that. It's like a party that never goes home. So it's fun, it's exciting, but it has its moments where the kids are overstimulated, or maybe they've had too much sugar, or they're having a hard time. It just feels like that, but with one mom and one dad. Somebody just asked, will Shayden be home for the summer? Yes, Christy, yes. I wondered what he would decide to do, but he definitely wants to come home for the summer. And he's got that cute girlfriend, um, Tatum, that he just adores. And I think she adores him right back. And so he wants to spend time with her. She'll be graduating this year from high school. Brandy said, you dress the kids so adorable. Speaking about that, I'm really excited to share with you some of the fun things that we just received in the mail from a company called Little Stocking Company. So since Brandy just brought that up, I think I will show you just a few things that they sent us. I reached out to them and just said what adorable outfits they have, and they sent us a package filled with so many things that are going to last us for the next couple years. Aren't these dresses just darling? So they come in all of these adorable colors. These are size 6, and they're super sensory friendly. So for people that have asked before, sensory friendly clothes, I like clothes that are tagless. These do have a tag, but it doesn't bother my kids. They sent us all different colors. This little purple one, Violet's really excited to wear that one. They almost have like a 50s vibe to me, so like a modern vintage. Daisy, of course, is excited to wear this one. I love all the little ruffles. I love the little Peter Pan collars, and they have a ton of different prints as well. These would have been so cute to wear on St. Patrick's Day, but I forgot I had the package up in my closet, so I didn't get them dressed in time to do like a rainbow picture, but that would be really fun for all of the kids. So they did send us those. They sent us the most darling little knee-high socks, and my girls think these are just so cool. So I think these actually came in a 3-pack. So you can buy things in a 3-pack off of this company or from this company, which is really great since I have 3 little girls, but I love all of the details in these. And Vivi, of course, was ecstatic because these had bunnies on them. So we'll be wearing these definitely past Easter time. And then they also sent us tons of hair bows, but I have not cleaned up the girls' rooms yet because they have been accessorizing like crazy since they just turned 6. But they sent us so many fun little bows. And so my girls were like doing their hair like 2 or 3 times a day with several outfit changes. But I really love the clips on these. This is one thing I hadn't tried before. So they've got like these grippers on them, which make it really great because I don't even have to put like a ponytail in their hair. It stays put all the day long for as long as the girls want to wear them. So I love that modern vintage vibe that's a little bit 50s on my girls. And this company that I found is so fun. So you can head on over to their Facebook page or their Instagram page and check out just the cute prints. So far, my favorite one they sent me, I posted a picture of Daisy on Instagram in my story. So if you're not following me on Instagram, jamie.scott is where I post a lot of just extra things that you might not find on Facebook. Let's see. Happy Easter to you and your girls. Thank you, Tammy. That's really kind. So anyway, we love that company. We had another question. Desiree asked, how are the Quints doing in school? They're doing really well. I think they're all developmentally at different paces of learning, and they all have different strengths, different weaknesses. Lincoln really is obsessive right now about getting what's called Lexia done on the computer. So it is like this way that these kids can learn all their different subjects, but they can do it off of a computer. So like if you know your Lexia password and login information, you can do it at home with your mom or your dad. And he is so excited because as they complete a level, they get like these little certificates from their teacher, and they just feel like they've made this great accomplishment. So it's really fun to see him really get excited about that. I would say everybody's different. Daisy right now is really excelling with her letters and reading, so that's been really fun. I'd say Lily is like super artistic and musical, so she really enjoys that. Violet, I don't know. We'll have to see with Vivi. She's a little bit more timid and shy with things, so we'll have to see what her favorite is, but she's such a bright kid. We'll have to see what her favorite is. And Logan is really intelligent when it comes to math. So what I'm noticing at home is the Quints will just randomly shout out different numbers while playing with her brother, and they'll be like, Logan, what's 300 plus 200? What's 5,000 plus 5,000. And he knows the answer. Logan, what's 20 plus 7? He is really intelligent when it comes to mathematics. I wouldn't be surprised if the kid grew up to be an engineer of sorts or like a mathematician, or I mean, I wouldn't say he's like brilliant, but I mean, he really loves mathematics. So it's been really fun. And like when we're sitting there at church, if he's being a little too talkative, we'll tell him to start looking at the hymn book that goes up to like, I don't know, 308 hymns or something. And he'll just sit, thumb through it and just count in his head all the numbers. So he really loves math. Hey, love your hair. Is that your natural color? Audrey, that's really kind. I know it's starting to get, I do highlight it and I haven't in a while. So this is my actual color now. When I was a little kid, my hair was like platinum blonde, like completely white. I was going to share with you guys though, a couple of new hair products I have found that I'm really liking. I had a favorite brand of mousse that was only like $4 that I could get at Walmart for super cheap from the brand Gotta Be. But they recently changed their product and it's just not the same. So just a few days ago, I found this off of Amazon. It's called Biolage Styling Whipped Volume. And I love this stuff. It smells so good. And it almost like when it comes out of like the tip, it almost looks like frosting. It smells amazing. So if you want the link to this, I'm just comment link and I'm happy to send that to you through Amazon. The other product I really like is this Kenra volume spray. And I use this on the girls. It's helped to keep the lice at bay, that's for sure. And we have not had any more lice. So their dad did a really good job at getting rid of them because he was the last person that had them to really nix those lice. That was such a nightmare. So yeah, just comment link and I'm happy to send you links to our favorite hairspray and that new volumizing stuff. For me, I don't wash my hair every day. I wash my hair like a couple times a week. And if I use like a good whipped or like a good mousse, I don't have to wash my hair for several days. And it's really, really helpful. So I'm happy to send you all the link for that. It smells really good. And I'm really picky and sensitive when it comes to smells. Like I can't wear perfume. I love smelling it on other people, but I can't wear it since I had Shayden years ago because I just get like nauseous. It's super weird. But this product, I love the smell of it. It's like frosting on a cupcake. I love it. It's great. My mom uses Kendra products. Yeah, I had never come across of it. There was another influencer that had twins and she mentioned she used that. And I was like, ooh, I want to try that. Amber asks, do you use a dry shampoo? Every once in a while I will. There's one, I think it's called Batiste, that is for blondes, but you do have to shake the can really well. So I do like that, and I can find it at TJ Maxx sometimes, so it's a little bit cheaper. But honestly, finding a good mousse just makes it to where I don't have to wash my hair as frequently. And then I like, as far as like hair products, when it comes to shampoo and conditioner, I do love Biolage. I mainly buy Nexus because I can get it cheaper at like TJ Maxx or Ross sometimes. And then I just stock up like when it's on clearance, usually in January after Christmas is over. Carrie asks, do you still have your male friend? I think, you know, that's a tricky one for me the last few days. Yes. I guess I'll just answer that question. So Austin did come down. He came down last minute. He texted me on Friday and said, hey, what would you think if I came down today? And I said, you know, I miss you. That would be great. I would love that. So he got all the work done that he needed to get done, and he left, and he didn't end up getting into town until Saturday morning at like 1 a.m. And so he was down for like half a day. And we got to catch up and just have some really good in-depth conversation about some really important topics to the both of us. And I'm going to try not to cry about it because I've cried the last couple days about it. We had just a really good conversation about what we need and what we want. And what we decided mutually is to give each other time and space. He's become my best friend, and that's wonderful. And we'd become really close, which is great. But I expressed to him that I haven't dated anybody else, and I've only known one man that was my husband. And so my needs moving forward, I think I'm ready to date. It's slow, but but those are things that I need, but the door is still open. And so that was a really hard conversation. And anyway, I've been listening a lot to music the last couple days while the kids are at their dad. But one of the songs from my playlist is a Jason Mraz song. I think it's like, I Want You to Have It All. And so if you listen to the words of that, Jason Mraz, I want you to have it all. Like, that's how I feel right now. And giving each other the space and the grace to figure out what we need, what we want, and how we feel about our relationship. So, and I agree with Cheryl. If it's meant to be, it will work out and it'll come back to you. So I don't know that I've really told a lot of people that. I've just kind of been processing the last couple days. He's a one of a kind, and whoever gets to be married to that man is going to be one lucky gal. He's incredibly kind. He's incredibly patient. He looks a lot like my dad, and he treats me a lot like my dad. He doesn't really get angry, and he's never raised his voice, and he's gentle and he's kind, and I trust him and I feel safe with him, which is huge. So as far as like dating, I've been trying it out for like a day on this like app. And actually I did like last week when Austin and I were talking about this, and I was like, this would be good for me. And I was asked out within a few hours, and it scared the daylights out of me. And so I deleted the app, and I was like, no, this is weird. Because it was someone that I knew from like 8 years ago, and it weirded me out. So anyway, I hopped back on like yesterday, and I've talked to like a couple of people. One person I sort of know. One person I've had a conversation with. But you know, dating is weird. I never thought I would be almost 40 and be dating anybody besides my husband. So it's kind of this weird position I found myself in. It's really easy, I'll say, to spot the weirdos and the narcissists, if you will. Like, the amount of gym selfies I'm seeing on these dating apps doesn't interest me at all. I'm looking for somebody who's down to earth, who's kind, somebody I feel safe with, somebody I can trust, and who's honest, and that will be great to me and great to my kids. So it's a little bit tricky, and I realize I have a type. Out of the like 1,200 people, I narrowed it down to like 10 people, and they all kind of have a similar look. They're all clean shaven and probably remind me of my dad or Austin right now. So we'll just have to see. I'm just going to give it some time. But Austin and I have still been communicating, and he's been a wonderful friend. So anyway, so I hope that addresses that for anybody asking that. Let's see. The one thing I find dating in 40s, I miss that. You were amazing. Take your time. Children are so lucky to have you as a mom. Thank you. Yeah. And I think when it comes to love, when you make room, there's enough love to go around. And so as far as dating, my time and energy is still predominantly spent on my children all day and into the night. So finding someone that can be a good fit for that, and someone that I can have as a best friend in the long run is what I'm looking for. But I would like to take like a year or two to really take my time exploring that and have it be not my primary focus, but spending time with my family, that always being first and foremost my focus. But I'm a person too, and I would love to have somebody by my side for the rest of my life, somebody that I can confide in, that I can feel safe with, trust, and love, and be their best friend as well. So a wonderful friend first is great. I agree with Carrie Ann on that one. So some of the other questions that came in, Sarah asked, are the girls like their flower names? And for those of you that know the story of how we picked the girls' names, when I found out I was having the Quints, before I knew if they were like boys or girls, I had a dream that there were 3 little girls, and the girls' names were Daisy, Lily, Violet. Now Lily the name Lillian is a family name. It's my mom's mom. And for years I knew I was going to have a little girl and that her name would likely be Lily. But I had this dream, and in the dream, those are the girls' names. And in the dream, Violet was called Vivi. So that's why we call her Vivi. Now, as far as like, are they like their flower names? I think Lily's kind of remind me of dead people on like, like the flowers that you see at funerals. So, and they're really strong scented. I think if lily is like any type of flower, it would be like a lily bell, like a lily of the valley, or like a tiger lily, because she's like fierce and fiery sometimes and like spunky and has so much personality. As far as violet, I would say Violet is a one of a kind, and her middle name is Rose after her grandma Rose on her dad's side of the family. And Rose Bascom was a cowgirl and a show, not a showgirl, but like a rodeo, not rodeo. She was a trick roper. So I think she was used to like being in the spotlight and being like fierce and beautiful. I think Violet reminds me maybe somewhat of what she must have been like from what I hear. And Violet, yeah, she has depth. So when I think of the color violet, it has just depth and color. And I think Violet is that way. She's a thinker. She takes her time to process information. And Angela's middle name is Rose too. It really is a good middle name. And on the Scott side of the family, there's a lot of the nieces that have the middle name Rose after their grandmother. And I love naming children after grandparents because I think it helps teach them and reminds them of who they are, where they came from, and they're never truly alone. And then let's see, the other girl, Daisy. If anybody has ever seen You've Got Mail, the quote that is one of my favorites in You've Got Mail is, "Daisies are the friendliest flower." And I do feel like Daisy is easygoing. She's just kind of like cheery disposition for the most part, introvert, keeps to herself, is gentle by nature. And I wouldn't say she's like outgoing and friendly, but I think she makes a really good friend. And I love that about her. Now, when I had that dream and woke up the next morning that those were the girls' names, I thought the name Daisy was a little hippie trippy, but Daisy's middle name is Kate. She's named after my sister, Katie. And I think it pairs well with her. It's just like a bright, cheery name. And I think that describes Daisy really, really well. So I thought that was a really interesting question, one that I hadn't really been asked in 6 years. And then Sarah also asked, what is your church building on Sundays called? And how is it different from your temple? So I thought I would cover that one for anybody that's curious. I find it fascinating learning about other people and their faiths and why they believe what they believe and being open-minded to that because it helps create the person. So our church that is open to like all visitors, we just call it like a church or our chapel. And on like the front of any of those churches, it says visitors are welcome. So everybody's welcome there. That's where we go and we take the sacrament. I know a lot of church congregations take the sacrament where you go to commune with God. And we have 2-hour church. So the first half we do a sacrament meeting, and then everybody takes turns in the congregation giving like a 5-minute, 6-minute talk where you can talk about scriptures, thoughts about what like Jesus means to you, that sort of thing. And then the second half of church, we spend either in like Sunday school studying scriptures, the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. We do believe in the Book of Mormon, so that's different from other faiths. And then I don't know, they've kind of changed it now since I've had the Quints and since COVID, but we also will gather with just women. So every once in a while we'll have class where it's just women. And honestly, that's my favorite, where I feel like I grow the most and I learn the most, because the wisdom of older, well-seasoned, mature women, the things that they've learned over their lifetime, people like me that are more middle-aged, really help me dig deep in like learning how to be a better woman, a better mother, it used to be a better wife, but moving forward, a better wife. And then also the younger generation are in that category too. And then it reminds me of like where I've been and just the joy of motherhood and womanhood. So that's really my favorite class. And that's how our church differs from the temple. A temple is a place where we can be sealed forever to a spouse. It's also a place where we go to commune with God. It's a place of stillness. It's a place of prayer. And it's beautiful. So I thought she asked a really great question. And those are just a few of the differences between church buildings and temples. Now, temples are reserved for people that do pay tithing, and it's just a higher law of some of the things we practice in temples. If you're curious to know about more, I'm really not a scriptorian. I don't know everything about everything, but you can check out lds.org, or I think now they've changed it to Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You can Google that or lds.org, and it'll answer that like much better than I can. And then let's see. Some of the other questions, Amy asked, what is their birth order? So Violet is the oldest of the Quints. It goes Violet, then Daisy, then Logan, then Lincoln, and then Lily. And then Susan says, I love your outlook on life. You are a wonderful person. Thank you. I think hope is a beautiful thing. I think having faith in God helps you get through the hard stuff, but also having faith in yourself too. And that's the thing that I've really grown in the last 2 years. I think I've always had faith and I've always had hope in God, but learning to find that in myself too has really been a journey for me these last couple of years. Have you been to the temple here in Boise? Karen, I have not. I know there's temples all over the world and they're building like tons of them. All over the world. I've not. And there's a lot of open houses. Those are free to the public and you can go and you don't have to be a member of the same faith. You can just go. So if you're curious, you can see beautiful architecture. Some of them are like historical buildings that like pioneers built that they're redoing just to make sure they're modernized, earthquake proof. I know our St. George Temple, they made sure of that just because you know, times are changing and stuff. So anyway, really cool. Janine is from Sydney, Australia. Thank you for joining us. Okay, some of the other questions that came in. Amy asked, are they going to celebrate with their dad soon? I think we covered that. They had a birthday party with their dad this Monday that I heard their grandparents came to, so the kids were really happy about that. And then Tracy asked, are you still friends with Dallin and Ashley? I'm not. So they're other influencers, the Dashleys. They're more Skylar's friends. And I think my former husband, he's wired a little bit more like Dallin. So no, I'm not friends with them. The three of them seem to hit it off. I am in a different season of life and they have little kids. Sharon said, did you have nannies when they were little? Yes. So those of you that have been following us for a long time know that we did have a strong, wonderful support system early on. And we had like steady nannies. Mina's girls helped us out a ton. She had twins and then a daughter that started helping us. I think she was 12 or 13 when she started and she was wonderful. And then we had my niece, Whitney, the kids call her Hee, for the first 3.5 years. So yeah, we've had a lot of people that helped with those kids and have loved those kids. And we're so very grateful for that. And then Megan said, do any of the Quints have interest in sports yet? I don't know. We've not really tried it. I definitely think Logan and Lincoln would probably love it. I think Violet would love it and maybe Lily too. Daisy's super quiet and shy. So I don't know about sports. My mom played volleyball. So genetically they could be good at that. And then I played volleyball a little bit as well. But I'm rather short. And so like longevity of that as a volleyball player, and I'm not that solid. I don't know. I kind of had to make a choice between volleyball and dance and I went the dance route. So we'll have to see. Destiny asks, what are the Quints' favorite subjects in school? Oh, I think we covered that one. Kristen, is it spring break in Southern Utah? So we had our spring break, I want to say a couple weeks ago. We had a good time. The kids and I did a staycation. We went to the park and then we went swimming. That was our big to do for spring break. And that was really fun, but overwhelming. I definitely think I will take like a babysitter with me next time we go because it is a large facility. We went to the Washington Community Rec Center and it was really fun. Do the kids still see Hee? She is wonderful. Linda, good question. I don't know. I think so on occasion with their dad, but I don't have her over at my house just because she's Scott's side of the family. So yeah, they are just growing up and it's fun. And Noreen asks, will the Quints do a second year of kindergarten since they were born early? That's still something that I'm wondering. They were supposed to be born June 3rd and they were born at 29 weeks. I feel like they are catching up towards the end of the school year. I definitely feel like Daisy's ready for first grade. The other four, I don't know. So I do think I need to counsel with the teachers on that one and see what they think, where the kids are at developmentally. And then also their dad, because that would be a co-parenting thing of moving forward of what we decide to do. I wish I would have held Landon back because he was an August birthday, because first grade and kindergarten were really tricky for him and he would get really frustrated. So yeah, I think Linda's right. Like if I'm going to hold the kids back, I'd rather it be in kindergarten than when they get older. So I think Lincoln definitely started a bit too early for school. Linda says you did it with 2 of your kids. Yeah, and Shayden, I had the option. Shayden wishes that I would have held him back so that he could have been the oldest when it came to sports. But that kid was just so ready and eager to learn and needed that socialization, especially because we had a new baby in the house. So I did choose to start my July and August kids in school early. So anyway, yeah, it was good. I'm just taking comments now. So if you have comments, I do have like one more question I think somebody asked me, and then I'll be taking comments. Terry asked, do viewers still send you clothes and items for the Quints, and what's the address? So we haven't received a lot of packages recently over the last several months, but we have had some with the kids' birthdays coming up, and I'm really grateful because some of those clothes, so I did think that the kids might be a size 7. I think more, once I tried the clothes on that people sent, they're probably more of a size 6. So I'll be saving those clothes so that will help clothe the kids for the next couple years. And I'm super grateful for that because I had mentioned before, money is really tight for us, mainly because sponsorships. So views really help us. So people watching, that money goes directly to the children and supports and gives them opportunities that we wouldn't otherwise have. If I were to go out and get a real job, as some have suggested, I would be making minimum wage and I would be giving that all away for childcare. And so I am just grateful that I have this as a way to make ends meet for our family. And I'm hoping that sponsorships pick back up. I do have some trade work coming up of companies that I'll be working with. And I'm super grateful for that, even if it's just products that help our family and benefit our family. I wish have been allowed to stay later. I was the youngest of my class and seems to struggle always, is what Cindy said. I struggled in school a little bit. Some things I just, like syllables were really tricky for me. I think I was more focused on like the motion of sounding things out that I just couldn't hear it and I was overthinking it. But yeah, school is different developmentally for each of the kids, but I do want them to attend. Since nobody has developmental delays, I do want them to have those shared memories as much as possible within the same class. So not like they're all in the same class, but like they're all in the same grade. And so whatever we decide to do, I don't want to have one kid held back and one kid held forward, because I wouldn't ever want to feel as a multiple that my sibling was smarter than me, or I was behind or struggling. So anyway, do you mind sharing where we can see Skylar's page? I think his new channel is called The Soul Surrender Show. I don't watch his things, but you're welcome to look that up and watch his stuff. I had a July and August baby. I wish I had waited. They are very secure. Have a wonderful Easter to your sweet family. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, everybody's different. Every child is different. Everybody developmentally learns different. I think the trickiest part for me is helping the kids come home and read a book after school. Like that's how they send books home. And I've had to think outside the box with that one because I am a single mom. And when the kids first get home, they want a snack. And then I jump straight into dinner. And trying to carve out that time to read one-on-one with the kids just is really tricky with how much they have needs right now. And so thinking outside the box, brainstorming with the teachers, they're assigned a reading buddy every week that they're able to have that one-on-one time of reading. Because when I tend to read books, it seems like everybody just wants to swarm and sit on my lap, no matter how old they get. And so we're kind of reading the same books together. I wish I was reading more with my kids, like when they were younger, but with the ages, how big they're getting and being outnumbered, it's just a little bit different now. But if I can instill in my kids like one thing, the love of learning, and reading as much as I can to my kids and teaching them to love learning. I think it will benefit my children for the rest of their lives. So as they get older, as they are more independent, they'll want to read. And speaking of reading, I had the sweetest person come and drop me off books. It was actually the person that set Austin and I up on a date originally, but they sent me even more books than this, a whole bunch of vintage children's books. And if there is one thing I am a collector of, it is vintage children's books, specifically from like the 30s through the 60s. I love the books that they dropped off. I was admiring them the other day when I was over there visiting with them. And I love classics like Tom Sawyer. This is going to be backwards for y'all, but you know, I just want to raise my kids on really, really great literature and great books. This one is Heidi, but I love the covers on these books. Landon and I collected Tom Sawyer books, and it was so fun and nostalgic, and he still has those books. This one is called Eight Cousins. I'm not familiar with that, but the artwork is darling. It reminds me of like Holland or something. So anyway, that'll be fun as the kids get older to have a good collection of books. Some of our favorite books that I would recommend, like my all-time favorite book is probably Love You Forever. We love that one. Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, we love that. Elsa B. Scow is a new author that I really love and admire her artwork, illustrations. She teaches really good morals and values. She's out of Sweden. They're old books. Sometimes the translation into English is a little bit wonky with some of the books, but they're really fun, creative, imaginative, and the girls especially really love them. I also love Flicka, Dick, and Ricka books. They're books about triplets, and they also have Snip, Snap, and Snur books, which are about triplet boys. So Lincoln and love those. So it's really fun. All the Heidi books I can find. Eight Cousins is a Louisa Alcott book from her series. Oh, I did not know that. Well, I'm gonna have to read that. Little Women, I really want to instill the love of that book in my girls because it teaches so many wonderful things, and like the relationship and the bond in Little Women that the mother has with her daughters, how they call her Marmee, and like how the girls, you know, they have their moments and they fight over the same boy, like all the things. I want my girls to be raised on really good films, really good books. I really love like BBC productions. Some of them are a bit scandalous. If you get into those, I'm like, oh, I can't watch that. But some of them are really well done. And they did a recent one of Little Women. And the gal that played Jo did such a phenomenal job. I really liked that. So as my kids get older, you know, things like, what is it? I'm trying to think. What is the name of that book? I can't think of it. Anne with an E. It's not called Anne of Green Gables. I really want my kids to read Anne of Green Gables as they get older. That was a series that I read when I was like 12 that my mother had, and I loved it. Jane says, oh, I love Flicka, Rick, and Dicka. I had never heard of them, and somebody else was telling me their summer reading list, and they really teach good values about family. Like, I'm going to sit and invest time in reading to my kids. I really don't want stupid books that teach stupidity. I don't know how else to say that. Some of these like books nowadays that they come out with, I'm like, okay, I get that they're like funny, but I want appropriate books that are going to teach my kids how to be better human beings. And the Flicka, Dicka, Ricka series has had some really great ones. One of ours is like about a farmer's market and how the kids want to save up to buy something, and so their parents give them like this idea of like how to garden and then sell everything, and then they give back to their neighbors too. So I love it. It teaches my kids so many great things. The Bobby twins, I don't know about those. I remember growing up, Sweet Valley High was a book about identical twin girls that were totally different, and their parents were divorced. And so maybe as my kids get older, I know I'll be able to find those like at our local thrift shop. Let's see. I am from PE. Lucy Montgomery is the author of Anne of Green Gables. I would love to visit there someday. And just the nostalgia of that series just brings back so much. As my girls get older, I'm sure they're going to want to read those. Does Mina still come? Mina and I were talking about the other day of having the kids go over to her new house and do music time. Kimberly, yes, the Narnia books. I love the Narnia series. And the metaphor of what's the name of the lion in there? But in a lot of ways, the way it was written by C.S. Lewis, he represents the Savior in a lot of ways. And I never really thought about the metaphor and the symbolism of that. I can't remember. What is the name of the lion on there? Bobbsey Twins. I don't think I ever read those. I also like Nancy Drew books and the mystery books from like way back when. Yeah, all of these great nostalgic books that I grew up on were so fun. Aslan, that's the name. That's the name of the lion. Yeah, so as my kids get older, I would love for them to read more of the C.S. Lewis series. I think they would love it. Landon and Shayden definitely grew up watching the movies. And we love that. Harry Potter, of course, are classics. Before the movies came out, though, I actually got really bored with the Harry Potter series. I had a hard time remembering what all the names were, but now that I've seen the movies, like, you compare both of them and it can be really helpful. I went to Prince Edward Island. That's the house where the book was written. I watched a documentary about, I'm trying to think of like Little Women and how that was written and like the house that you can go to from that author too. Little House on the Prairie books. Yes, I was just in TJ Maxx yesterday and somebody was looking at some sort of prairie dress or shirt with their daughter. And they actually mentioned, they held it up and they were like, do you think this is a little too like Little House on the Prairie? So Little House on the Prairie has really stood the test of time. I think for so many families growing up, I know I read that series and I still remember it. Magic Tree House series. Yes, those are amazing. Amazing too. So yeah, so things are going good over here. I will get the kids back this Sunday evening. So they'll be spending Easter with their dad. And then I will have a little Easter basket. The Good and the Beautiful have wonderful books. I was looking into that when I was considering homeschooling years back. So yeah, we'll be celebrating Easter at my house this Monday when the kids get back, Monday morning. Secret Garden, that is an amazing book. And I loved that movie from the 90s, so good. And A Little Princess from the 90s, classics. So we'll be spending Easter, so that'll probably be in my Tuesday's vlog of next week. So anyway, thank you all for joining me here, especially for an 11 o'clock. I know it was a little bit different of a time for us to do these live videos, but it has quickly become my favorite day of the week. So anyway, yeah, if you want links to just the couple of hair products I'm using that I love right now, I'm happy to send those. Just send the word link and I will send that directly to you. And check out Little Stocking Company. This company is so darling and I've loved working with them, and the girls love the dresses and they're sensory friendly too. Love to you all. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Happy Easter and excited to welcome spring, the spring season into our home. Love you all and I will see you later. Bye.